Who you are?
Cutthroat Bill.
Hi guys, I'm Ashley Coe, and this is an actor behind-the-scenes share of the movie The Thicket, where I had the pleasure of acting across from Juliette Lewis. After, I'll also get into why was the director shouting at me from across the set. But first off, to get you started, I'll share about who was in the film with me, and then I'll share some clips and inside stories about the opening scene in which I was in with Juliette Lewis. Let's do it, Ashcapades! This film boasts some pretty heavy-hitting actors, like Peter Dinklage, known for his role in Game of Thrones, where he drank and he knew things.
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
In this film, Peter plays Reginald Jones, a sharp-shooting bounty hunter tracking down Cutthroat Bill.
You ever shoot a man? No. You're a Christian.
And then there's James Hetfield of Metallica fame, where the last time he was in Calgary, he was most likely performing at the Saddledome to thousands of adoring, cheering fans while pounding out hard-hitting, heavy metal hit songs. Yet now, switching roles completely, handing over his guitar for a Smith & Wesson rifle and giving up his mic for a 6-gun pistol, he now finds himself in the woods playing cowboy alongside the likes of Juliette Lewis.
I look at acting as creating and playing.
An actress with incredible range, known globally for her role in Natural Born Killers, where she played a crazed and erratic, abused young woman who falls in love with her savior and killer of her father, played by the legendary Rodney Dangerfield, who, wearing a wife beater, is a caricature of a raging, abusive father.
Children play how they make up things, and they'll play cowboys and pretend to beat each other up.
In this film, Juliette Lewis is almost unrecognizable.
You're the littlest man I ever seen.
You're the ugliest.
I played against her in this scene I'm about to share about, and when I met her in the church while we were trying to warm up from the cold, I barely recognized her. Her makeup was very convincing, and it was incredibly rough, rugged, and dirty. It was a bit of a shock from how I remembered her, and you can see from this photo just how movie makeup can transform a person as she transforms into a menacing, masculine-like serial killer. However, in the scene we shared, she's completely covered from head to toe in costume during our shoot, creating a mysterious and menacing look. She was pretty cheerful and smiling when we were inside, with a little bit of a chuckle, as we all shed the cold for a few minutes in the church that had been placed onto the prairie south of Calgary for this shot. We'll now be heading into the film's opening scene, where I'll share about what happened during filming and a bit about my part in it and some behind-the-scenes stories. The film is set in the early 1900s, where new technology, like this motorcycle speeding across the open fields, is starting to appear in the landscape and beginning to get a foothold alongside the newer invention of the car. Although they aren't featured too often in the film, it's really an interesting lead-in. The bike hints to a modern age, yet it suggests a feeling that the rider is racing back in time, and that will soon get tossed back into the Wild West that still exists. With the scene, we find ourselves exiting a church with the mourners of a recent passing, and this is where I make my entrance. Now, my little nose pokes up over top of the casket. I'm one of the pallbearers, and there I am. And we're taking this coffin off of the cart here, and we're getting it ready for burial. And along comes this mysterious figure in the background, all clad in black from head to toe. We don't know who this person is. We're acting a little bit bewildered, and sure enough, that's Juliette Lewis. Now I'm going to take a second here to talk about the incredible acting that's happening in the background with the mourners. I want you to take a moment to see and appreciate the anguish and the pain that's emoting in the faces of these actors, and just how incredibly they've expressed themselves in this scene. I mean, look at this face. This is some great character acting here, and these are just background actors. These people are not making the big bucks, yet they truly can add depth to the feeling of a film. And this is what sells a movie, guys. Exceptional background actors like this. We're really lucky in Calgary. We have such an abundance of fantastic actors like this that movie makers can swoop in on and add this level of authenticity to their films. They don't get awards or even simple recognition or even a heartfelt thank you sometimes. Just a chance to be on screen and make some sort of a mark for themselves. So I'd just like to send a recognition out now and point out this exceptional work here that so often goes unappreciated. Okay, let's get back to the arrival of our mysterious dark-clad character who's arrived at the scene. Now, the stranger motions to us to flip open the casket, and with weapons showing, we comply, and it turns out she wants a coat. Now, the funny part was that after each take, the guy putting the jacket back into the casket kept just tossing it back in there randomly, which caused Juliette to kind of fumble with the coat, almost comically, which was not really the point of the scene. So what Juliette wanted to do was get her hands into the armholes, flip the coat around, slip her arms in, and then look really cool, and then menacing. So after several takes, I finally said to the guy, look, hey, why don't you lay the coat out so the armholes are showing so she can easily get her hands in there, do her action, and we can bag this scene, right? So sure enough, it worked, and we continued on and kept filming. Now, I want to take a moment here and talk about the costuming. I mean, look at these incredible pieces here. Those gorgeous silver conchos on the belt, the bone handle of the knife, and look at that pearl handle of that pistol. I mean, what could that be? A Colt 45 Army revolver? Or maybe it's this Cimarron Frontier 45 revolver here. I mean, just gorgeous pieces. Okay, so remember at the beginning when we were wondering why the director was shouting at me from across the set? Well, it's time for the big reveal. So you can see the blinding light in the background. I kept squinting so hard that it was raising my cheeks up, showing my teeth, causing the director to shout out, "Stop smiling!" And at first I didn't know who he was talking to, but I eventually called back, I'm not smiling! And he said, yes, you are! And I said, I'm squinting, the sun's directly in our eyes. So in light of that, I'd like to say a healthy thank you to the director for helping me get around that and putting up with my squinty smiles. And a shout out to the editor for not leaving me on the cutting room floor, which is so often the case as an actor, as it really was great to find out I'd made it into the film and had a great experience. So anyway, those are my really small contributions to The Thicket, and I'd like to give a shout out to background actors. Coming up, I'll be sharing some more videos of TV shows and films I've been in, such as the film The Order, out now with Jude Law. I've been in Fargo. This is me on the set of The Last of Us. This is the first episode of the first season. And this is the location we shot in Fort Macleod. Me in the diner where Joel and his daughter ran through in episode 1. There's a blip of me in the wilderness, Joe Pickett. And the TV show Ride. I had quite a bit of airtime on that episode. And Heartland, which I've also appeared in. Pretty fun. They shoot around Calgary and High River. Till next time, and my next Ashcapade.
Let's do it, Ashcapades!